Raise your hand if you wanted to be a paleontologist when you were growing up. Nobody? Everyone loves dinosaurs. Thank you. Raise your hand if you wanted to be like a train conductor or a veterinarian. Almost all of us had aspirations of being like Steve Irwin, friend to all crocodiles, or maybe even Madonna. Passions that only a small few of us got to turn into a career. For a time, I actually wanted to be a geologist. I remember going to different stores and seeing beautifully colored rocks all separated according to the rainbow. As a child, of course, I gravitated towards the pinks and the purples. I was just fascinated that the earth could produce such intense colors and in such variety. I used to have the stones in a little velvet pouch, and I kept them for a really long time. And now you find these stones at gift shops where you do everything you can to avoid taking your children into those gift shops at the end of like an amusement park or aquarium. I found that my kids loved them too, and of course, Ryan and I bought Bela and Asher a bunch of them and put them in the same type of velvet pouch, just like the one I had. So no shock, I did not become a geologist, but I never lost my fascination with the earth and the remarkable way she is painted both inside and out. But seeing that I became a rabbi, I had to get my fix for stones another way, and thankfully I found one. When I am anywhere on the shores of Lake Michigan, you can find me among the stones. The palette of colorful stones on Lake Michigan's shoreline cannot be described adequately, nor could a picture really capture the absolute treasure just sitting there, dancing with the waves. I sit in the sand and I sift, and I sift, and I sift. I pick out the ones that call out to me because their shape or their color, and I take them home. When I'm lucky, I find a Petoskey stone or a Charlevoix stone. Those are great, but I'm just as pleased with the rocks that are the products of the alchemy of nature. How many of you are sifters like me or rock lookers like me? Nice. This last time I was there, I was sitting in the sand sifting, and Asher was playing in the waves. There was a guy surfing, if that tells you what the wind was like that day. I was marveling at the stones, but this time, for whatever reason, I held each one a little longer. I felt its smooth surface. Some of them were so perfectly rounded. Others were flat and smooth, and according to Asher, the best skipping stones. I don't know why this time the texture stood out to me, but it got me thinking. There had been an awful storm the night before, and now the waves were kicking the stones around even more than usual. It's like the ones that washed up were the lucky ones, no longer on the ride, but rather hewn enough to wash along shore. I looked at one of the stones and I said, geez, you've been through it. And the simplest realization came to me. The smoothest rocks were the ones who'd been through it, tossed around, clashed against the bottom and other rocks, and maybe even brushed on shore and went back out to the lake, not yet ready to settle on the sand. The ones that were the most tossed around and beat up were the ones that were the smoothest. I looked at those rocks, and I could see our community. I could see the people of Israel. I could see each person that I visit in the hospital or a nursing home and their families. And all of a sudden, for me, all the rocks had faces and names and stories. And I saw my family's face there too, my own. I saw anti-Semitism, anxiety, depression, and grief. Every once in a while, I would get a piece of glass that would show up among the stones, and I thought to myself, ugh, politics. But these were the ones that made it out of the waves. They still had their faces and stories, but they got to the shore. Their story was ready to be told, and now someone like me could marvel at them. If I'm not making any sense about what I'm saying, I'll give you an example. My niece Allie is 23 years old. She's 9 years older than my daughter Bela and 11 years older than my son Asher. I have said to Risa, my sister, before that I envy that she already knows the crucial part of Allie's teen story. And now she is thriving and on her way to being a lawyer and an amazing adult. I have no desire to speed up time, and yet I want to know the rest of the story for my kids. I want to have that comfort of knowing that despite the inevitable bumps and bruises and disappointments, everything will be okay and they'll thrive as well. When bullying crushes them or they don't make the team, it's like they are the stones stuck in the waves. I want my kids to make it through safely and end up beautifully on the shore. And this is true of so much of life. We want to take a peek into the future to see if the cancer treatment worked, or if your child or grandchild got accepted to the college of their dreams. We meet someone and fall in love. We desperately want to know, is this the one? For so many couples, when they find out they're pregnant, they would give anything to know the end of the story is a happy baby and a happy mom. None of these things are givens. None of us know the exact arc of the story of our lives. This can be really exciting and also terrifying. As human beings, we prefer the known to the unknown. We like guarantees. Judaism itself doesn't like gray areas. The entire Talmud is an exercise in the attempt to answer every question and imagine every possibility so as to come up with every solution, so ambiguity is impossible. Spoiler alert, they did not succeed, and neither will we. The Torah doesn't even end with a clear answer about how the Israelites ended up. Little pop quiz. At the end of Deuteronomy, are the Israelites in Israel? 100%. No, they're not. You have to keep reading. As much as we wish we could flip some pages and see how 5,785 ends, that's next year, we can't. That's not how the book of life works. How our new year will be is a little up to us and a little out of our hands. As we go through Elul, that's the month we're in right now, the month immediately preceding the high holidays, I guess my wish for you is that if you feel you've been through it, that you eventually reach the shore. Maybe not by Rosh Hashanah, maybe not even by Simchat Torah, but someday. At the very least, I hope you can find comfort that you are in really good company. Just look at the beach on the shores of Lake Michigan. There are thousands of stones just waiting to tell their story. Shabbat Shalom.